if you're celebrating. Today I'm going to give you some tough love. Tough love. I wanted to do a Valentine's Day video, but I couldn't decide what to talk about. But I've been really struggling recently with just kind of general anxiety, and quite bad anxiety. And I thought I need some tough love right now, and I thought I can't be the only one because the world is pretty fucked up right now. So I thought maybe whether you're single, in a relationship, in multiple relationships, you might just want some tough love as well. You might just need some tough love. And I'll take the bullet and I'll be the one to give it to you. So instead of talking about dating advice, relationship advice, any other kind of typical Valentine's Day advice, I'm going to talk about falling back in love with the world. This shit little world we have right now. How can we fall back in love with life? How can we fall back in love with the world? And it's a relevant time, right, to be talking about it. I think there's so much shit going on in the world, and it is so easy to feel overwhelmed by it, especially with, social media, the news. Like, I feel like every day there's just a ton of bad news coming our way, and it's so bamboozling. So I hope you find this video useful. It's just kind of unsolicited advice. I know no one asked for this, but I need this for myself, and so I might even rewatch this video myself, be my own therapist. I thought in the Valentine spirit I could rustle some roses. I think I've got 12 roses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, maybe I've only got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 roses. And I thought I could just kind of rustle those. There's no water in this pot actually. I need to add water. So you feel like the world is terrible right now. The entire world is awful, an awful place to be. And there's so much hate in the world, and it's overwhelming for you, and you feel like you can't really trust anyone anymore. You feel like people aren't as trustworthy as they used to be, and nobody has the time for each other, and you feel completely hopeless. You feel let down by the world. You feel hopeless in your career, or you feel hopeless in love, or you feel lost in general, or you're angry with your family, or some things, or everything about the world are just really getting you down. Or maybe it's not quite as kind of depressive. Maybe it's more that you're bored with everything. Nothing makes you smile anymore. No one makes you laugh anymore. Nobody impresses you anymore. Even when you scroll on your phone, you're understimulated by everything. You feel like you've seen everything, you've done everything. You haven't met a new person in a long time that's really made you go, wow, like I've never met someone like you. You feel like you've met everyone there is to meet. Every time you see a new face, you kind of think, oh, have I seen you before? You look like someone I know. And maybe you just feel really isolated. Maybe you feel really misunderstood. And maybe you're a slave to nostalgia. You look back at childhood photos, or even photos from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you think, I can't even remember a time I was that happy. You look at your childhood and you reminisce about the snacks they used to have in the supermarket, or you reminisce about school, or you reminisce about all these things which somehow have just lost their wonder. Or they're not part of your life anymore. And you're completely, either way, whether you're feeling depressed and overwhelmed or if you're just kind of zoned out of everything, you're feeling completely disenchanted by the world. And you feel like a robot, you feel nothing inside towards anything. And you feel like an island, maybe. It doesn't feel great. So you think, okay, I have to change myself. So you strive to change your self-image. I'm gonna join a gym. I'm gonna redo my entire skincare routine. I'm gonna buy myself a sports car. I'm gonna start collecting designer handbags. I'm gonna start collecting trinkets or stamps to give me a purpose in life, because I feel so disengaged. And you're trying to fill this void. And maybe it's because you care what people think. Maybe you want people to think that you have a luxurious life, or that you have a very fulfilling life, or you want people to think you're happy all the time, or you want people to think that you're kind, or you want people to think blah 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 blah. Or maybe you want people to think that you don't care what people think. Maybe you're trying to be authentic, you're chasing authenticity because you feel that everyone out there's authentic, but you're somehow just so disengaged and so not true to yourself, and you don't know who you are. You're doubting everything about yourself. Why are all these other people so authentic and successful and I'm not? And then maybe you try and find a community that you can belong to. You need to feel like you're part of something, that you're not completely isolated. So you join a running club, or you join a church, or maybe you decide I'm gonna have kids because I need to feel like I belong, and there's no better way than starting my own family, right? Maybe you join a knitting club and you tell yourself that if you surround yourself with people who have a common interest, then you'll all become this kind of unanimous group, and you've found your people finally, because all of you run together on a Sunday morning, or you all pray together on a Sunday morning, or you all have breakfast together every day. And maybe you go through phases in life because every time you try something new you feel like this isn't the real me and I just don't fit in. I don't fit in with these people. Or, maybe you were a bit slower than everyone at run club and you got embarrassed, so you never went back. And then you decided you were going to try netball instead. But one of the girls gave you a look that you felt a bit uncomfortable about, so maybe you left netball and you decided that you're going to do still life painting classes. But you were no good at that either. And you've tried so many different people, you've tried so many different groups, and you just can't find your people. You feel like you don't belong, and you feel, again, so isolated. Maybe you tell little white lies about who you are, where you come from, and what your interests are on dates, or with new friends, or even with close friends or family. And you feel like you're always rebranding yourself. You're rebranding yourself so the world will accept you, so that the world will love you, so that you'll receive affection from people, or you'll receive affirmation from people, you'll receive compliments, you'll receive something from the world, and you feel you're putting your best self forward to the world and you're getting nothing back. And you tell yourself, if my nose was just a little bit smaller, or if I had a bit more confidence, or if I could run a little bit faster, people would like me more, the world would treat me better. It's the world that's the problem. People don't treat me better because they can't see me for who I am. But there are some things you can't change about yourself. So you tell yourself, if the world isn't going to accept me for who I am, I'm not going to give anything back to the world. I look after myself. It's me, myself and I. Me, myself and I. Or maybe I look after my people, my family, my children, my friends, and I You're not the only person, I promise. If any of this resonates with you, you're not the only person. So many people fall into this trap. It's just me, myself, and I. I don't owe anyone anything. So you walk down the road, and you notice that no one's making eye contact with you, or with each other. Everyone's kind of on their phone looking down. No one smiles at you anymore. If everyone used to smile, what happened to smiling or saying good morning to people? No one seems to do that anymore. Maybe you feel like you're being judged. When you walk down the street, you walk past a group of teenagers and you think, oh my god, they're judging my outfit. I'm so old, I'm getting so old. And the reality of it is that everyone around us is in this bubble, in this kind of fortress of their own self-image. And they're so self-absorbed. We all are. That's human nature, right, to be a bit selfish, but everyone is so self-absorbed with their own issues and their own anxieties, their own concerns, that they find themselves in the same position that you're in. And everyone just seems to be in their own little bubble. There's no community anymore. There's no sense of community or belonging or kindness. You don't get any kindness from the world anymore. And you can't help but think that the world's just become a terrible place. But then if you just practice a bit of introspection, really ask yourself, when's the last time I smiled at someone? I was generous without expecting anything in return. When's the last time I complimented a stranger? When's the last time I asked my crush out instead of waiting for them to ask me out? When's the last time I listened to someone who has polar opposite views to me? Without getting defensive, without arguing, without walking away, without rolling my eyes. When's the last time I really listened? Not necessarily agreed, but listened to what someone else was saying. When's the last time I slowed down and gave myself the opportunity to see the beauty in the world? When's the last time I tried to learn something new? Or I was open to learning something new and it was offered to me? Even if it was something boring, I believe, and I tell myself, that it's this hyper-individualism that's destroying community. Everyone has their own brand that they're trying to maintain. They have this image, this fortress of their self-image. They want to be perceived a certain way. So people are so afraid to break out of that bubble. Everything is just so fast in this world. Technology is moving so quickly. Politics have just gotten out of control, it seems. And even children seem to be growing faster than they used to be. Everything's just speeding up. And ultimately, you feel and others feel left behind. What about me? And it seems maybe like society is moving faster than we are. We feel left behind and we get panicked. Oh my god. You know, my friends are all working in these high-paying jobs, or all my cousins are married now. I'm the only one in the family that isn't married. Or, everyone has children. I don't even know if I want children. And we constantly feel left behind. And when we feel left behind, we compare ourselves to other people. What are they doing right that I'm doing wrong? How have they got all this success and I don't seem to have any? And then we become bitter about it, right? You compare yourself, you become bitter. And even if you tell yourself, you know, life's unfair and they had an advantage. You know, she's only in that high-paying job because her dad owns the business. You still kind of feel inadequate, no matter how much stuff you try to explain away logically. And when the world is moving so fast and everyone around you seems to be doing so well, you can't help but ask, why am I stood still? Why am I in kind of stagnant water? And then when you start seeing the world in this way, when you start seeing everything as competition everything starts to become transactional. And I think this is an issue that comes with this individualism. Individualism, I don't know if that's the word. Everything seems transactional. Relationships and interactions, basic interactions, everything kind of feels like marketing. It all feels transactional. You know, you meet up with friends and you think, I'm not even really friends with these people anymore. It's just kind of to feed my ego that someone wants to spend time with me. Even if I don't really like the people around me, I just want to be known for having a lot of friends. Or I want the highest salary and I want everyone to know how much money I have. But this is the issue, because when you see life as transactional, it is a guaranteed way to burn yourself out. When you see things as transactional, you will burn yourself out and you will become completely disengaged from the world, completely disenchanted. Because life has suddenly become some kind of business venture. You're selling yourself as a product and everything just kind of becomes obsolete. So again, these kind of transactional things, you know. I don't smile at people in the street because people don't smile at me. I don't give money to charity because everyone in my life has more money than I do, and I feel like I'm falling behind. I don't take an active interest in politics because all politicians are evil. I'm not even going to bother checking who's running this year. I have no patience for people with different opinions because it makes me question my own beliefs, and that weakens my ego. I'm not interested in learning something new because no one ever listens to me when I want to talk about things I know or things I love, the knowledge I want to share. So why would I listen to someone else? I'm not going to write a Christmas card for my friend this year because she didn't write one for me last year. And if you spend your life waiting for someone else to make the first move, for someone to show you love before you can show it back, you're treating life like a business transaction. And there is no faster way to kill passion, to kill love, than to make it transactional, to expect something back. I think the reason we treat basic interactions like a business transaction is because of this capitalist, bad bitch, hustler, whatever society we live in is capitalism, right? That's the very essence of capitalism. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The issue is when the vast majority of people feel this way. We end up with an entire world where nobody will make the first move. And if everyone in a room expects someone else to make the first move, no one will. There's a name for this. There's like a sociological phenomenon of I'll let someone else do it. I let someone else be the first person to smile. I let someone else ask me out. I let someone else help that old lady across the road. And ultimately, everyone ends up paralyzed with fear, or paralyzed with self-doubt, or paralyzed by this overwhelming sensation of just being isolated, being an island. And there's no communication between people. Even the bare minimum, there's no eye contact. There's nothing. There's no interaction anymore. And when you have this transactional view of the world, you see kindness as weakness. Who'll be the first person to falter? Who'll be the first person to give something? We see giving as such a negative thing because we can't understand in a capitalist society the concept of giving something without receiving anything back. What a terrible, terrible concept, having to give something without getting anything back. But if you feel the world is a shit place, you have to accept that part of it is a mirror. Okay, so how do you fix this? How do we fix this issue of not feeling any love from the world, not getting anything from the world? You have to make the first move. You have to make the first move. So you can't necessarily change the world. There's bad shit going on in the world. if you want to change your relationship with the world, you can change the way you act. You can't change everything, but you can make a difference. You have to actively practice selflessness. You have to actively practice selflessness. And you have to teach yourself to expect nothing back. I guess it's a bit like rejection therapy, where people go out and do crazy things just to get themselves used to rejection. Similar kind of thing. But in this case, you're telling yourself, I am showing the world kindness. And maybe the world might just show me some kindness back. I'm not expecting it. And being kind doesn't have to mean giving all your money away or doing a 5-month volunteering program, Just tell someone on the bus that you like their shoes. Or next time you're in the supermarket, put some spare change in a charity box. Or if your boring uncle's yapping on about something, just try and show an interest. For 5 minutes, just listen to what he has to say. Be curious about things for your own betterment, just be curious. It's so important to be curious about things. Because as I said, some of us are slaves to nostalgia, and we look at our childhood and we think, I used to get excited just going to the supermarket, and I don't anymore. I've gotten used to it. And that's it. You feel like the world's made me bitter. My experiences as an adult, or my experiences throughout my life, have made me bitter. The reason I was happy as a child is because I didn't know anything about the world. That's what we tell ourselves. But in reality, is it because you just stopped being curious? Is it that the world made you bitter? Is it that your experience has made you bitter? Or is it that you neglected that curious part of your brain that gets excited about going to the supermarket or walking the dog? Maybe you neglected the world around you. You neglected the people around you. You stopped showing an interest. You stopped asking questions about the world around you. And now you're bitter that you're not getting any answers. And we talk about childlike wonder, right? Childlike wonder. You can't have childlike wonder if you're not wondering. If you're not curious about things, if you're not asking questions. Because there's an infinite amount to learn about the world. In one lifetime you couldn't learn everything there is to learn about the world, the universe. But we tell ourselves, I know everything, I've seen everything. And if you take just the smallest amount of time to put some love out into the world, I say love, it could be something so simple, so simple. Just, asking your local shopkeeper, how his day's been. If you do these little things, these small gestures, you shouldn't expect anything back. But I really do believe that you will receive something back. And it might be that 1 in 50 people smile back at you. Or it might be that you compliment 10 people and only one of them says thank you. Or you might volunteer at a food bank and not get any praise for it whatsoever. But I genuinely believe you will feel better about yourself. You'll fall in love with yourself, right? Wow, that was such a kind thing I did. You're allowed to give yourself a pat on the back. And that's important as well. And you'll find that some people have their walls up so high, just like you have, or just like I know I have. Where, again, they're an island, and they won't recognise the good that other people have done for them because they feel victimised by the world. They're in their own bubble of distress and anxiety, and they feel so victimised by everything that even if you do something good for them, they won't accept it, or they won't acknowledge it, because they can't see past this wall that they've built to protect themselves. They can't see that there are good people out there, and there are good opportunities out there, and there's still good in the world. But you can't knock down other people's walls, you can only try and bring down your own. And then other people in response might start to bring theirs down as well. And if you allow yourself to be vulnerable with people, you give yourself the chance to be rejected by people. You will find that most people will start to be vulnerable back. But it's just that everyone's afraid to make that first step. Everyone's afraid to make that first step. And if you try to strike up a conversation with 200 people on the train, but one of them speaks back to you, everyone else ignores you and tells you to shut up. One person entertains your conversation. You've already proven to yourself that it's not the entire world against you. It might be a lot of the world. A lot of the world might be mad and terrible and scary, but you're never alone. You're never alone. There are always people who want to reach out, who want a sense of community, who want to feel loved. And you can't feel completely loved alone. You can love yourself, but it's the human experience to want to fit in somewhere, to belong somewhere. And maybe, you've had terrible experiences, you have kind of issues with people, you don't even like people. Go to a fucking petting zoo. Sit with a donkey for an hour. Or next time you walk down this street and you see a cat, just say hi. Sit with it for a little bit. Sit on the pavement next to a stray cat and spend some time with it. Or maybe you hate animals as well. Take an interest in plants. Every time you walk to work, try and count the number of plants you can see and ask yourself, I wonder what type of tree that is. Or, I wonder what leaves these are. Or maybe start bird watching. Or maybe take an interest in road signs, street names. I wonder how old this road is. I wonder how old that building is. Take an interest, be curious, and force yourself to ask questions. And at first it might seem quite redundant, it might seem quite, tedious, like you're forcing yourself to show an interest in things. But it's all just a case of training your mind, and eventually your mind will listen, and it'll come naturally to you to ask questions. Keep asking questions. And that's such a valuable skill to have, to ask questions. So I'm not sure how helpful this has been, but it's something that resonates with me. I've seen kind of similar advice videos, and often when I feel victimized by everything, obviously you can be a victim of actual issues in life, right? I'm not saying you can't be a victim, but when you find yourself in a headspace of being nothing but a victim, you feel so powerless. And if you start to take action, even if it's just the smallest thing, to give yourself the opportunity to receive love, give yourself the opportunity to show love, or to feel love, that's how you get the spark back. Because there's so much joy to be had in the world, there's so much. And instead of looking at the big things, your salary, your career, your friends, your family, look at the minutiae, look at the tiny little things in life. Because this is where you can discover some of your biggest hobbies and passions, and ask yourself real big questions about the smallest things. I really hope something has resonated with you in this. But I promise you, you're not alone. You're not alone in feeling isolated and disenchanted. And I wish you a happy Valentine's Day. A happy Valentine's Day. And I wish you all the best in your journey to falling